All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast real estate tip. And today I want to talk to you about real estate exit strategy plans. So when we're thinking about that long game, yeah, we got the immediate goals. We got hey, I need to start getting X amount of closings, recruit X amount of agents, get X amount of revenue coming in, for those immediate, whether they're that immediate, hey, the next 90 days, maybe the next 12 months. But today I really want to talk to you about that long-term play, whether that be 10 years. Maybe for some of you, it's 5 years. Maybe you've been doing this, you're 55, you want to be done by the time you're 60, you've been doing this 20, 30 years. Maybe you're, in your 20s, 30s, whatever you got, 20, 30 years left. But today I want to talk to you again about, being intentional with coming up with your exit strategy plan, and what I have discovered to hands down be the number one way for real estate professionals when it comes to retirement plans for realtors to be able to successfully exit out of our real estate businesses. Because I don't know about you, this business is a lot of work, and yes, I love it. Yes, I enjoy it. But at some point, man, you want to get yourself to a point where you're either doing it because you want to do it and no longer have to do it, or just get to the point where you don't have to do it at all. So you can go out there and enjoy life and live life. And, I think all of us at some point, want to enjoy those golden years. And hopefully if you do this right, you're able to make the golden years way sooner than your actual golden years. But here's the sad part, is that the vast majority of this industry do not do this. There's a saying in the real estate business that real estate agents do not retire, they expire. And this is also true for team leaders and broker owners. The vast majority of team leaders, the vast majority of broker owners that I know and meet are just as broke, if not more broke, than they were as high producing realtors. They were a high producing realtor. They wanted that leverage, thought they needed that leverage. So they started expanding into a team, started expanding into a brokerage. Now they have all these additional headaches, all this additional, gross revenue might be up. But now expenses are way up. They have way more stresses, way more headaches. Their time is just pulled in so many different directions. And, and it could just take a lot, to be able to put all these things together. But we need to be intentional with them, because otherwise you get to the point where I don't know what the percentage is, but my guess is about 99% of this industry, go out there, they just do enough to live an okay life, just to kind of survive. Maybe it's above survival mode, but just to go out there and live a good life. But, you guys all know, right? The more money that we make, the more, all of a sudden now we're buying a bigger house, we're buying nicer cars, we're taking more vacation, right? So our life kind of expands with that. So our savings and our wealth and our investments never expand at the same overall rate. And the vast majority get to the point where they got to do this forever until their Social Security kicks in. But even that's usually not enough for many, that I've seen in this business. And I've seen so many that have, just put in 30 plus years into this career to just pack up their little box and call it a day, and they have nothing to go out there and show for it, right? So we want to be intentional with this. And I found that there are kind of two overall primary options that you can go out there and do. Now, you can do a combination of both of these options. Doesn't need to be one or the other. It can be both of them. Now, you got option one, which is to go out there and sell a ton of real estate, whether you're an individual agent, team leader, broker owner, but go out there and sell a ton of real estate. So you're maximizing revenue, not necessarily having a life, right? You guys all know what that takes, but you go out there and you sell a ton of real estate. Maybe you figure it out with systems and process and the right leverage piece where you're able to have a life, but you sell regardless, you grow the hell out of your revenue, but then you keep your business operating expenses as low as possible. You get really smart and intentional there, but then you keep your personal expenses as low as possible. So you're living frugally. So you're living well below your means. So you can then go out there and invest. And whether that be real estate, whether that be the stock market, whatever it be, whatever your investment vehicle is, so you can go out there and build that future retirement plan. When you start breaking this down, looking at this, what I want you to do, and there's tons of financial calculators online, go speak to a financial advisor, whatever, but you can map this stuff out and plan this out. I was having a conversation not too long ago with a friend of mine that was like, hey, I want to be able to be done in about 10 to 15 years with selling real estate in my real estate business. But then I said, well, how much money do you need to be making monthly on a passive level? Yeah, right. So you can go out there and enjoy life, travel, do the things that you want to do, assuming that, inflation is about the same and cost of life doesn't triple again or whatever, or double again. And they're like, about 15 grand a month, right? I'm like, okay. So we went out there, just do it on a quick, online financial calculator, or something like around $4 million, I think it's $4.5 million that they'd have to have in the stock market, to be paying them. residually, or passively, that 15 grand a month. So then I asked him, I said, okay, well, what's the probability and likelihood that you can raise this $4.5 million in the next, 10 years? So if they're not on track to do that, okay, things need to change. You need to put a plan in place. So that's option number one. And that's a very good, viable option. Now, option number two, which I think is the best option, the most strategic option, the option that I went down. And again, I'm not saying that you can't do option 2 and 1 together. Option 2 just allows you to accelerate this way, way damn faster. So option number 2 is to join a real estate brokerage where you are an owner and have additional ways of making money. Now, there's a bunch of these out there now. I'm going to use EXP as the example because EXP is the option that I chose as the vehicle to allow me to go out there, not just make more money today and more money in my real estate business today, which all of those things are true, are able to be true and are true. But then from there can allow me to accelerate my exit strategy on a much higher front than any other, traditional real estate model out there, any other traditional real estate business model out there. And again, I know that there's other platforms that have kind of copycatted what EXP, started. EXP is kind of the pioneer of this. EXP is kind of the Amazon of this. And then you get the copycatters, with that. And by copycatters, I'm not meaning that, they're bad. I mean, it's smart. Like you copy what is freaking working. It's like my favorite Picasso quote is good artists copy, great artists steal. But for me, EXP was hands down the best option, out of all of them. And that's why I went the path of EXP. So I'm going to use EXP as the example. So what do I mean by this? Okay, EXP is an agent-owned company. So in real estate, if you look at this, like, okay, if you, I know most of you are working on buyers and sellers, and then some of you are also, recruiting agents but most of you are either working on buyers, sellers, or have worked with buyers and sellers. So this will make sense to you. Now, will we tell somebody ever, oh no, you should just rent for the rest of your life versus own? No. Because we know that the vast majority of, at least here in America, the vast majority of Americans build and earn their wealth and create their wealth through owning real estate. And if you look at the amount of wealth through owners versus renters, there is no comparison. Like we would never tell anybody that cared about retirement, that cared about building future wealth to rent their whole entire life versus own. Well, when you don't join an agent-owned company, you got two choices. You either go build out your own, which is extremely hard to do. The average brokerage out there, like 90% plus brokerages out there, broke as hell. They're not making any money. The operator, the broker owner still has to sell, to go out there and make any element of a profit and to make money. So you can either go down that path and go, take on all that additional risk and manage all of those people and especially now at the lawsuit area, take on that additional risk. And so you can go down that path. And that's one path to go down where, now you are an owner. Where now you have, if you build it right, now if you want to build it to 20 agents, 30 agents, 40 agents, like you're never going to be able to get it acquired or sell it for anything substantial to be a retirement. You're going to have to build it big, right? You might have to build it to 500 agents, 1,000 agents, 2,000 agents to get it decent enough to give you the nest egg that you want to be able to go out there and retire. So you can go that path where you're an owner. Either way though, you need to be an owner. Now what I loved about EXP and these kind of copycat methods out there, but I'm going to use EXP as the example here, is it's the first ever agent-owned company. So the brilliance of the model is okay, not only am I able to go out there, I've got 3 different ways to go out there and make money, right? And I'm an owner of the company, and I'll break down how this is all possible, right? So you got 3 different ways to make money, one of which is passive. And if we want to create wealth and create an exit strategy, passive income is really the key, right? Like you got to have that mailbox money coming in. It's like the difference between flipping and acquiring long-term buy and holds. Okay, I go flip this house. Yeah, it gives me a bigger payday today, right? But then the second that transaction's done, then it stops. It's no different than, okay, I go sell this house. Maybe you have a huge month, you sell 10 homes this month, you get paid on those 10 transactions. Well, if you got nothing lined up for the next month, nothing lined up for the next month, right? Like it's like we're employed until we close that deal. Now we're unemployed until you're chasing the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. It's all transactional, right? Where, okay, if you're acquiring long-term buy and hold rentals, not only are you building up equity in those rental properties, but now they're paying you, if you buy them right, they're paying you passive income every single month, right? That then compounds over time. You're able to build, lower down, whether you're buying them for cash or if you are financing them, you're able to, lower the principal, and build up that cash flow, build up that, that mailbox money. And that's really the key to be able to have an exit strategy, is building equity, and then also building up that passive income. So if we look at the 3 ways to go out there and make money in a model like EXP, okay, we got our production. Now, the thing I love about EXP, because it's an agent-owned company and how they designed it, where they're like, hey, instead of having all these layers, like the company I was with the first 10 years, right? I was like, okay, you got the international corporate, then you got the territorial kind of district area representatives, that sold the franchises. I was with Remax my first 10 years. Then you got the franchise owners, then you got all their staff and all their employees, then you got the agents, right? When EXP was created, like, hey, we're just going to eliminate all that. We're just going to grow through our agents, own and operate through our agents, allow our company to be agent owned. Eliminate all that waste, all the shit that's just wasted expenses, whatever. So our agents can go out there, produce at a high level, but have extremely lucrative splits. So when we look at production, okay, with what our splits are at EXP, they are as competitive, in my opinion, more competitive than any other platform out there, especially when you start layering in everything that they add of value that they provide and give us. So, okay, we got production. And when we look at people like, oh, well, production, I don't know, Josh. I'm like, okay, just go out there and do your due diligence about EXP. I was on the fence. I was the biggest critic of this model for 10 years. My first 5 of those 10 years was ignorance. I didn't really fully grasp the model. I didn't really know if they were going to make it, didn't have faith in it. I didn't really understand it. And that was just me being ignorant, naive, not open to the model, whatever. And then honestly, the last 5 was just my ego. I couldn't get over my own damn big head, my own damn big ego. I tell my wife this almost every day, who's sitting behind the camera right now. Dude, I'm kicking myself. I'm so pissed off at myself that I didn't grasp the power of this model 10 years ago, because shit would be so different today if we did. But that's okay. Best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. Second best time to plant it is today. But then from there, what I started noticing the last few years, I'm like, man, every single top agent, whether it's individual agent or every single top leader, team leader that I know in North America, I'm like, they've made the move over there. So now when you look at, top producers pretty much in every market, you look at every state, whether it's the top 1 or 2 team leader, top 1 or 2 individual agent, they're all with EXP. It's where the pros go to grow, right? So obviously they're doing something right there with production, compensation structures, because you just go out there and kick ass. And if you're iconing every year, right, essentially you're working for free. So, you got production revenue, which is what we're in this business, most of us to go out there and do, and that brings us the now money, right, that immediate money. But then from there, for just doing production, doing the crap that we already are doing throughout our whole entire careers, we get given an awarded stock. My first 20 years of this career, sold a lot of real estate, 7,000 homes, between myself and my team. Got a lot of awards that are collecting dust in my garage. And not that awards and accolades aren't nice, but I was never given stock. I was never given anything, for that. It's like, okay, when you join, you close your first deal, you get some stock options. Every year when you cap, you get some stock options. If you icon, which is like, for most markets, it ends up being 20 deals beyond your cap. So for most markets, depending on your price point, that might be 24, 26 units a year, right? So for most, producing individual agents, good producing individual agents, okay, when you hit icon, you are able to get your 16,000 cap back in stock, for just producing. Okay, if I attract an agent, bring on an agent, okay, I get $400 of stock when I personally bring somebody into the organization when they close their first deal. So things that we're already doing. And I'm not saying you got to go out there and recruit, right, intentionally have to go out there and do this stuff. But like we all have those friends, people that we know. Hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. Who do you recommend? You recruit agents through accident in this industry. It's like, okay, like my last brokerage, like I brought in the number 1 team leader in the country that joined our last brokerage, and he was a buddy of mine, right? And I was happy to do it. I believed in the company at the time. I didn't have awareness of EXP at that point in time of my career, my life. And I got to thank you from the broker owners, but I had nothing to show for that. Right? If it would have happened at EXP, I'd have been rewarded in a whole different way, when it comes to this. So, okay, we earn stocks. And then from there, you have different ways where you can choose to acquire stock. Now, this is just us giving stock so we can build future wealth for just doing the same crap that we're already doing. But then, okay, you can also have the option of setting aside 5% of each of your commission checks to acquire stock at a discount. So it's kind of like a 401k, right? And then the last element of the way that we can make money here, because it's an agent-owned organization, agent-owned brokerage, is through revenue share. So again, brilliance of the model. He's like, hey man, we're not going to have all these, layers of all these, corporate, area representatives, brokerage owners, franchise owners, recruiters. Like we're just going to grow through agent to agent. We're going to build an organization where agents are able to go out there and produce more than they can at any other organization, where they have better support, better tools, better systems, better everything. And they're going to love it so much, they're going to share the message, and other people are going to join. And this is the whole company now you might be like, oh, that's BS, that's silly. Okay, through this model, fastest growing real estate brokerage to ever exist, and the largest now privately held real estate brokerage to ever exist globally. Like, they did something right, when it comes to that. Now, if anybody joins because you had a conversation with them, friend, whatever, they join, you have a conversation with them, then boom, you start earning a piece of the pie on everything that they recruit, everything that they go out there and sell. And then, okay, if they bring in somebody, because how it's set up through network marketing goes 7 levels deep, it just compounds, tremendously over time. So I'm not even saying that you got to be intentional with this. Now, for those of you that want to be intentional with this, like if you're like, hey, I want to go out there and I'm going to be intentional with this. I'm going to set aside maybe an hour, 2 hours a week, an hour to 2 hours a week. And I'm going to go out there and try to attract and bring in 1 to 2 agents a month, right? Well, then that becomes game and life changing, after 5 years, where now you're making, it's going to vary for everybody depending on the caliber, type of people that you bring in, how you support them. But I know many within the organization that have only averaged 2 agent recruits that they brought in that they've attracted on a monthly basis, but have been here for years, that are making insane amounts of money. We're talking over 7 figures annually with how this is compounded. And that becomes that passive income. That, okay, if we want to get to the point where we're not having to sell, don't want to sell, or just be in a position to sell because we want to, not because we have to. The other thing I love about the rev share is that's willable. The older that I get, the more that I start thinking about, again, building wealth. Like, I want to have something that I can then transfer to my family. If I get hit by a car tomorrow, okay, well, how are my kids, how my wife going to be taken care of, right? So thinking about that of, okay, this is not only, something in the now, but for that long term, building up that long-term legacy, building up that long-term wealth. So option number 2 is to go out there and join one of these amazing vehicles, one of these agent-owned brokerages. My recommendation is EXP. There's a specific reason why I joined that, but you can go out there and do your due diligence with those. But that's the quickest way to now money. Yeah, right? Like, okay, that agent that I was talking to within 10 years, 5 to 10 years that wants to make $4.5 million, to get to 15 grand a month. Like I told them, I was like, hey, if we're strategic with this over here, we can have you at that 15 grand a month, hell of a lot less time than we can have that built up. But at the same time, this is going to give more revenue. Well, you can build that up and accelerate that faster. Now, instead of just having 15 grand a month, hey, why not have 30 grand a month? Right? So you can do option 1 and 2. Like I said, it doesn't need to be an either or, but option number 2 is hands down, in my opinion, my experience, is the best, most strategic. And I'm not saying this is a sales pitch to try to get you to come join me or join EXP. Like go look into any of the companies out there. Or if you want to join EXP and you don't want to partner with me, cool. I just believe in these style models so much because I spent 20 years of just getting used. 20 years of being a renter in my career. 20 years of just giving away, being a renter and not taking advantage of equity. Biggest mistake I ever made in my career was not thinking about this stuff, not being strategic, and not being open-minded enough to at least explore these other options. Now, if you do want to explore what a partnership with me personally at EXP looks like, where not only do you get all the amazing things and tools, which is hands down the best support, training, systems. It's just mind-blowing everything that EXP offers. But on top of that, you get all my coaching, mentorship, training, including one-on-one coaching with me. You get all my partners, Mike Sherrard, who's hands down the best human being at building real estate businesses through social media, get all access to all his coaching materials, all of our community, all 100% for free, in addition to everything that EXP offers if you decide to partner with us. So if you want to learn more about partnering with me and what a partnership with us would look like at EXP, you can go to www.gsdmode.com/partner. And I have 2 promises to you on here. Number 1, this call will be 100% confidential. Nobody will know about it because I know that. Got to keep these things in the hush-hush and DL. Number 2 is that I will not try to recruit you. Look, I'm not going to hard sell you. I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to try to recruit you. It's not my style. I don't want to run with anybody that doesn't believe that this is the best place for them. So I'm just going to walk you through. We'll spend 30 minutes, 30, maybe 45. We need a little bit more time, but about 30 minutes walking you through everything that we're doing, everything we have, meaning from the EXP side as well as kind of the GSD mode and Wolfpack side, everything that we offer, everything that we do, how we operate, answer any questions that you have. And look, if you think that this is the best vehicle for you that can help you get to where you want to go in a much better, quicker path, great. And if not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. Like I said, you have my promise that I will not try to recruit you. I will not try to hard sell. It's just, hey, here's what we got. And in my opinion, you owe it to yourself to at least explore it. I wish to God I would have been much more open-minded years and years and years ago. So again, if you want to explore this with me, go to www.gsdmode.com/partner. And again, like I said, because I'm not trying to make this, even though I know that it's coming across this way. This isn't about me. This is about you. I don't care if it's EXP. I don't care if it's one of these other models that gives you. I went with EXP because I truly believe, from everything I saw, everything I witnessed, whatever, doing my due diligence, because I did over a year of due diligence between all these other platforms, all these other companies, to see which one the best one was to build up an exit strategy. EXP, hands down, was the best. For me, go out there, do your own due diligence, and then maybe you decide it's EXP, but maybe you have somebody else that you want to partner with. Cool. I just truly believe that you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your future, and you owe it to your family to go out there and explore this, because otherwise you might find yourself in the position that 99% of other people are, where they got nothing to show at the end of this journey. All right, I hope that this is helpful. Keep crushing, keep kicking ass. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.